I got the clap. I know, it's sick. Coming for neck out here, Coach. I'm so upset with you.
What do you mean you're upset with me?
I'm upset. I'm telling people I got the clap.
You just said that. All I said was,
clap.
who has the clap?
Nobody has. I don't have the clap. Who's got the clap?
Oh, man.
Hold on.
Oh, what's going on?
I'll move that just over. Just a hair. Just a
I got
hair.
my phone waiting for an important call, man. We got big things happening, bro.
Yeah, we got
Waiting
people.
for it. We had to record. It was time to record. So we can't miss this call. So if we get the call during the show, guys, it is what it is. You gotta just deal with it.
So what's going on, Bridging the Gap squad? How's everything living? How's everything hanging? You're probably wondering, wow, what's up? Where are we at? And we can't tell you. It's a matter of national security at this point. All I can
Secret
know is
location. I wouldn't tell you, even if you knew it. I'd be like, no, that's not where we're at. That's my area.
that's not where we're at.
No.
Even if you knew, you still know.
When we go out, when we grow this thing to where it needs to be, even when we go out and tell people to meet us there, I'm still gonna be like, send out flyers and everything. Be like, yeah, meet us here. We're gonna do a live show. I'm still gonna be like, that's not where we're at. If you're not there, you don't deserve to know where we're at.
Yeah, we're not there. That's funny.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
So what's popping?
I don't know, man. I got cancer. There's a lot of windmills. I've been driving by Hastings.
That's freaking crazy.
Isn't there-
Dude's out of his freaking brain. Did you hear that
I
conversation?
didn't hear the conversation, no, but I just see the memes of the windmills causing cancer.
And his hair's all that one I think I posted it. Where he's like, yeah, can somebody turn the windmills down? It's causing my hair cancer. That is hilarious, but I see these things. Like I take the time, if somebody posts it and be like, listen to what he says, I'll listen to the talking points that they post sometimes here and there and just check them out, and I'll be like, man, this dude is just insane.
He's wild, man. He's absolutely positively wild.
I think he just says what's on his mind. Now, is there any evidence that a windmill causes cancer?
No, because I don't think. I mean, I'm thinking about it from a scientific standpoint, but like the only way I can see a windmill causing cancer is if like you were like ingesting the oil that goes between the gears or something. But like the actual wind turning of the turbine, it's all natural. The wind is turning the turbine.
Right.
It's not emitting anything.
And it's driving the energy into the power
Into
source.
a generator, yeah. So it's not like, no, there's no way it causes cancer. Like, there's not even a chance. There's not even a chance. Like, and like I said, unless like you're in it 24/7 and like you're just inhaling maybe like the fumes that are inside the cabin of it or whatever.
Right.
Maybe, and I'm saying there's like a maybe. There's a carcinogen in the air or something, you know. But like you could get that from smoking secondhand cigarettes or something. That's worse. That's even worse than being in a windmill. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't believe that there's any kind of, like, it's like you said, it's wind. It's wind creating energy. That's got to be a green source. That's got to be green.
Why are we having this conversation? Like, this is serious. Like, why do we even have to have this conversation?
But my thing would be thinking about that is, what I was trying to get at also is like what he said after that. No, what he actually said before that. He said that that you're living in a bird cemetery because all the birds die from running into the windmill and fall to the ground. So you're living, and your house property drops 75% if you got a windmill near your house. That's what he said.
That's what he said. I can see if you have a windmill near your house, it would drop because it's a risk or a liability because if the thing falls or breaks or whatever. I mean, maybe, but 75% sounds like a bit much.
That's a bit much. I don't think it would be.
I don't think 75% because he always, like I
I
said,
don't even think it's that big of a liability.
Really, yeah, really. I mean, you think the thing is, if you own a piece of land and there's a windmill by it or near it, don't they have to compensate you for the fact that there's a giant windmill like on your land?
Yeah, I don't know what specifically he's talking about. I think people are saying get a wind. Like I couldn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
If you got a windmill, I imagine you can't get a windmill in the city. Just right now, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing is local people locally, like yeah, you're right, you can't buy one in the city. But like I said, the thing for windmills has existed for a long time. You know, so it's like the Dutch and the Swedes, like a lot of people out there have like put those things out. There used to be windmills everywhere that were water mills, like where the windmills would spin to turn out water and move the things through the system. I mean, those things have existed for such a long time, and then you're gonna try and say that they're causing.
That's causing a little thing in the mic.
What is it?
When you hit the table.
Oh, sorry. Boom, boom. I'm not
I don't know how
I'm
to
not
sound
pitching
on the recording. We're testing out some things right now, guys. We're in the lab just checking out some things, so we're seeing
out
how
here
it's
in the
going.
lab. We're creating in the creative space.
Yeah, we're in a creative space out in the creative zone, so we're just checking out some things. So you might hear some technical things that are going on. We're just trying to get a grasp on that to see what we're working with and decide how we're gonna move forward with the things that we do. That's all.
Hey, I'm gonna say something a little funny here.
What?
That fan's been on this whole time. Maybe we should get it.
Yeah, too.
I'm gonna get that
I'll
fan.
get it because
Yeah, you get it, coach.
over there.
Over there, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need
I
to
wasn't thinking
slow
about
down
that
the the pre-production phase and make sure we check everything off the list. Before we get to going.
Hey, these are the pains of growing, the growing of the pains.
And that's what it's about. You gotta grow. Can't sit still. You gotta make moves. You gotta get to where you're going, and that includes like taking risks. And when people say that things don't work, that's when you do it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? The one last thing about the windmill thing?
Mm-hmm.
Birds.
Birds.
Birds flying in the windmills is, I think that's the most hilarious thing that they're saying that windmills kill birds. Because I'll drive down the road going 70 miles an hour. The bird will be on the middle of the road, pick up its wings, fly, and zoom out of the way. And you're telling me that a bird can't avoid a
Dodo
windmill?
bird.
Yeah, yeah, but they're not even alive anymore.
Yeah, but
Cats and Europeans got them, man.
the point of the matter is he just says whatever he says, and the people will find. This is what people are saying now. It's gotten so bad. It used to be like, oh, that's not what he means. That's not what he's saying. He's saying this, but now it's got so bad that the supporters have to admit, either it's going to. I've seen a lot of, because I talked to a lot of people. A lot of people said I can't even. There's nothing I can defend this about. All I can say is he's the president of the United States, and I'm American, so I'm going to support him. They have no more arguments about it. So the argument is now is, oh, it's just he's being sarcastic.
He's being
No,
sarcastic.
he believes
No,
these things.
it's, I mean, seriously, hyperbole only goes so far. Oh, he's just being extreme. Well, there's no need to be extreme about windmills, dude. like, I can see you being extreme about, like, how, you know, I'll even give a bit of a doubt, I can see you being extreme about illegal immigration or, like, terrorism or something. I can see that, but even then I can't. But windmills, it's, like, so overdone.
I just don't think they have well preparation. Like he prepares for, we probably prepare for an episode of Bridging the Gap before he does before speech.
Yep.
Doing a speech.
Probably.
That's what I feel. he has no preparation. Or they give him the stuff and he'd be like, nah, stretch this out. What do they call that when you black things out of a document, which they did with the Mueller report? What's it called? Redacted? Redacted. He redacts their speech.
They're like, yeah, or they're like, go and say, yeah, Mr. President, you didn't sound very good in the speech. Or like they have the thing written out what he's gonna say, and it's like, I don't know, that's just something like, don't talk about this, and then he just like X's out the part that says don't, and it says talk about this.
talk about this. They don't want me to talk about it, so I'm gonna talk about it. So it's all that stuff that he does. I think he likes it. He likes the attention of people pointing. He doesn't care what kind of attention.
You know, I just thought of a cool slogan idea: redact the don't.
Redacted don't.
So if someone tells you don't to do it,
do it.
Do it.
I'm the type of person that I have a curiosity when somebody tells me not to do something. Like why? Why would you tell me that if I'm doing something and you'll say either you're a negative person, is it won't work, or they're saying, oh, that won't work, or they won't let you do that. Are you a negative person? You don't have no balls to do anything? Or do you think that it's a great idea and you want me to be like, and then
oh
do it
yeah,
yourself?
right. Well, I mean, like, the only times like you really tell someone don't, I feel like the only way that's really good is if you tell someone not to do it. Well, actually, no, this is actually a funny thing from work. A guy I work with says, he's like, you know what? He says, I just learned you gotta let people try it their way first, because they're gonna do it anyway. He said, because I can tell you not to do it. Right? Because maybe I've been there. Maybe I've done the thing that you're going to do that's bad or it's not going to work out. I told you don't do it, and you're going to try it. Well, go ahead, try it, and see if it works out. And it's like you know, and maybe it will work out first, but then you keep doing it, and maybe it doesn't. And that's what he was saying is like you just got to sometimes let people do it their own way first.
Yeah, it's the touch the stove theory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you touch the stove, it's hot. You know it's hot. You touch it again. It's one of those philosophies like that. But I mean, a lot of people gotta test those things. But to me, like the only time is if they're gonna do something stupid. Like, yeah, about to jump off this bridge or something like this in the water. I'm probably gonna say, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, well, like, how deep is it? Well, at first we'd be like, well, how deep's the water? Oh, it's like 8 feet. I don't recommend that.
I probably wouldn't do that.
Skip.
Yeah, or drunk driving, stuff like that. Stuff like that you know that can end badly. That we're just saying like just something like you're trying to do something. I can't stand when somebody says to me that's not gonna work. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get some positive reinforcement, and you'll be like, that's not gonna work, or they're not gonna let you do that, or what?
Yeah.
That's the challenge to me.
Yeah, right. Or you could say, all right, well, it's like I've done this. It's more practically applicable. I mean, there's this conversation me and you have had where like like you're saying, why don't we try it like this? Why don't we try it like this? And I'll be like, well, I'm like, it's probably more practical to do it this way. And there's been times where we try it your way and it actually works out better. And there's been times where we tried it like the way you want to do something, and then we're like, yeah, see what I'm saying? So
Well, that's a process.
that's what I'm saying. But I think
You're going through the process of eliminating things.
right, and that's what I'm saying though about what we're talking about. Is
Yeah.
like that. I think that's the way you get to that, where like you say, where someone says something or suggests an idea, and maybe someone more experienced with something has done it, and they say, well, I don't think that's going to work because this, and this, and then because maybe they're just thinking about it in their head, but they never applied it, right?
Mhm.
And then you say, all right, well, let's apply it. Then we apply it, and we're like, wow, it actually works. But then there's other times where like the person with the practical application who's done it has said, hey, let's do it this way, because I know this wasn't gonna work. Then the person says, well, let's try it that way. And once they try it, they're like, oh yeah, it doesn't. It's like, yeah, you see what I mean? So, but I think that's the process of like how people learn things. I think the trial and error is more effective sometimes than, just being told not to try it.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be mindful. And if it's something like as simple as you chasing a goal and trying to make something happen, don't listen to anybody about that philosophy unless they're supporting you.
Yeah.
If they're not supporting you in a positive way, they're not trying to help. It's just all negative energy. You don't need that negative energy around you. They might, but if the process is them saying like what you just said is like, well, I'm offering you, hey, that sounds like a good idea, but it's how you present it.
Yeah, right.
It sounds like a good idea, but the way that you're doing it, what if we tried it this way? Because it'll cut more time, or it'll cut, costs or whatever.
Yeah, well, like, well, we have like people that would say, don't open a media business. Why? And they're just like, well, because, being a landscaper or what is it, like a construction worker or something, it's more practical, it makes more money. Like, that's what you want to do with your life. But it's like, forget that. Like, that's not what I want.
Pornhub just came up on my phone.
Did it? Oh, baby, what are we watching?
I'm not watching no porn, what you do.
What are you watching?
It just pops up on my phone. That's how much I'm free. Hey, Pornhub, you got to give me a
thing. That's some free advertising.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the paperwork, man, and give us a.
Speaking of which, I need to break free for a minute. There is a nice bottle. Oh, it's empty. It's empty.
We need to get out those packets for the what are they called? Because we mentioned a lot of
subscribers, Patreons. Patrons would be a good word for it, but that's not what they're called. They're called investors.
Something. Advertisers.
Advertisers, yeah, but it's not promotional. I want to say that's the word.
I don't know. You just pay us.
The word, yeah, you just pay us. The word. I can't think of the word. It's there. It's in the recesses, the deepest recesses of my brain, and I can't think of what it is, and it's driving me absolutely insane.
I don't know. It happens. Can't get in depth with everything like that. I was definitely trying to Google something. So what else was going on? I don't know too much that was going on. There's a few things that...
It won't close.
It won't close at all.
He's gonna look it up.
I'm trying to Google and Pornhub
Go
is just
away.
stuck on my phone.
It's stuck. It won't go. Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's hilarious.
Hey, I watch a lot of Pornhub. I'm not even gonna lie. People are ashamed that. I don't care. I watch Pornhub. When your girl ain't around or whatever, what are you gonna do? You gotta watch some Pornhub, man. If you're not admitting that, if you're not admitting that you're watching some Hub.
You know, listen, the truth is, the other day, I was trying to help my buddy download something on Audible, because he wanted to get the Audible app, he wanted to get a book, and I was trying to help him get it, and then like I accidentally pressed it, because it's an iPhone, I don't use iPhones, and I pressed the button, and like the whole home screen up, and one of the tabs was for porno, and he like embarrassed me, like, dude, I don't even care, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's your business.
Why, especially in today's society, why do people care? Like, it's everywhere. You can put porn on Twitter.
Yeah, right. Well, heck, if you scroll through your news feed nowadays, what you'll find is that you'll find pictures of like naked women and stuff like that, like boobs hanging out, or like, you know, I saw Vagine yesterday on the Facebooks.
You saw what?
Vagine.
Oh, is that the name for it now?
Well, it's a derogatory term.
It's a derogatory term.
It's not exactly, but it's on there.
So the shift, speaking of that, let's talk about that. The shift in porn, though, the acceptance of porn. There was a time where, in the 70s it was celebrated. I think so, because you had the Playboy, what's today's date? Actually, I think...
Today's the 8th.
It's the 8th or is it the 9th?
I think it's the 8th.
It's the 8th. Oh, okay, well, I'm off. I think tomorrow is, what's his name's birthday?
Who?
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh. Didn't he die
Yeah, he died. Playboy.
last year?
The Playboy guy. And it was just more accepted. Everything was more accepted. Are we going into that point where everybody is just like creeped out of everything? Like everybody's sensitive as hell. And I think we had this conversation. I find myself getting oversensitive, and I'm not an oversensitive type of person. And I think that people being oversensitive is making me oversensitive. And I'm ready to, chill out, everybody.
Like, yeah, relax. Well, you know, I wondered about something the other day, because there's this weird question that was on Facebook about like if you're married to someone, or like you're dating somebody, and like you're in bed and like, you know, like you like touched your girl's boob or something. Like, is that like rape because she didn't ask and she was awake and there wasn't permission?
Oh, that's
or something
crazy.
Or like, like your girlfriend, or like your girlfriend like touched your, you know, like whatever. Like if she touched you at all.
She
like,
touched
sleep.
your meat, Dev. You can say it. Stop it. This is
Well,
not a rated G podcast. If she touched your meat, would that be rape? No.
In your sleep though, because you didn't ask.
Oh my
She
god.
didn't ask, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, and then the person who posted it, you know what they said? If my boyfriend did that to me, it would be over. I would be done. I'm just like sitting there thinking to myself, like,
if she was sleeping, he touched her boob.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, or like her anything. I mean, I get it. Like, you know, like, because what would most, like, I don't know, like from how I was raised, what you'd probably say, like if you ever saw the movie or whatever, like they try and do that stuff, like whenever she's trying to sleep, and then like she's like, not right now, and then, you know, it's over. You know what I mean? But like, it'd be the same concept. I feel like you would just be like, no, we're not doing this right now. I'd be like, okay, but it's not like, you rapist, like as soon as it happens.
Yeah, that's out of control.
I think that's a little crazy.
That's just pure stupidity. That would never, in no court would they say anything like that. You have to physically, do something where that, if your
we're not even talking about
can't,
court.
now that's the question though, but can you rape your girlfriend? There
Yes.
was a time
I think you can.
back in the days where they didn't recognize that as that.
No, you can. You
Oh yeah,
definitely can.
yeah.
But I'm saying like just like the touch though. I'm saying like, or like
No,
whatever.
come
And
on,
like
man.
like it's I'm saying like, and I thought that I'm like, how can that really be? You know, because I've seen so much. I've had my own relationships where things like that have happened, where it's just like, and then if someone doesn't want to, they just say no, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
It's not
happens
rocket
all the
science.
time.
It's
Your
not
girl's
rocket
gonna be
science.
like, I got a headache, or I gotta get up early. I'm mad at you. You know what I mean? You were looking at chicks at Applebee's. I'm mad at you.
I'm mad at you.
Yeah, so it happens. Like you can't like. But if you're like, say that happens, like the only situation, like say I'm mad at you, no, or I got a headache and I'm asleep, and you come into bed and you roll over. Come on, man. That's just like you grab her. You know, come on, man. Anybody that doesn't feels that as some kind of sexual assault is out of their mind, yo.
Right, because like I said, it's not like an assault. Like it's not like I said, it's like one of those things. I don't know. It's just because of the political correctness we have nowadays, it makes that kind of thing such a hard line to draw. Because you honestly, like I said, that's why we do this, because not everything's so black and white.
No, nothing is. They want you to believe that I mean, and that's the thing that I'm getting at, is like, it seems like the more and more days go by, that everybody is using everybody's sensitivity against everybody,
Yeah, right.
against their cause. Like, say our cause is us, our cause is what Bridge and our mantra is, sitting down, having a conversation with different types of people, even though you don't agree, getting up from the table, either you learn something, or you just feel like, I don't believe that, or you're crazy as fuck. But it ain't gonna be for me where I feel like I gotta hate you. But it seems like everybody's using their sensitivity and what their cause is to shoot down your cause.
Yeah, no, that actually sounds, yeah, like I said, because that is what it is. I mean, they're just trying to throw. I mean, and anybody's doing anything now, that is a problem. Like, they're always worried about your image when it comes to political correctness. When you do anything, because if you say the one thing wrong, right, or you have an opinion that doesn't exactly match up with what maybe like what other people say, then that's what you are.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And people don't understand, they don't, I think people get too over, like, the mantra that we have is support equals support. We always push that thing. Like, if you want support from it, you have to reach out and support others. You can't always come to somebody with your cause and be like, you know what I mean? Think about that, because it's like a sales pitch. If I have an online business and you bought something from me,
Right.
I'm gonna always come back to you and try to pitch for you to buy something from me, right?
Right.
That goes for the same thing and when you're fighting your cause. If you're always out there like, oh, every year I know, okay, Bridging the Gap will support our cause, or we're having an event, they'll come out, they'll help, they'll donate, they'll do whatever. Now, every year, what are they gonna do? They're gonna come to us. Everything in between, they're gonna say, hey, you guys support this. Now, you have to reciprocate that support. You can't allow you can put 1,000% into your cause, but in order for you to grow your support, you should reach out to others and get their support, or you're not gonna grow. You're gonna stay in that box. You'll actually lose people that will support you if you don't support other people. You will lose your support.
Yeah, if you don't support, and we always say it, support equals support. So, you know, hey, we'll take that minute, shout out Melvin, shout out the Wake Up Podcast, and shout out Barbershop Sports Podcast.
Barbershop Sports Pod. Yeah, they definitely been utilizing the page. They show some support. They share. They utilize professionals. Go check that out.
Yeah, ask to join the group, and we'll let you come right in. You know?
Let you get that. That reminds me, we need to put those guys on this thing, because they're around. They're supporting. They're doing what we ask from people. The minimum thing the maximum thing we ask from you is just to, support it, get a listen. We understand there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
You can't sit and support everybody.
No, just pop in for 5 minutes, say something,
Right.
go, and then what? Just leave a like, or not even just leave a like, just leave a comment. Like, just say, just so we know you were there, and that you were like, oh yeah, like, cool, what do you think about this? You know, like, just if they heard it for 5 minutes, said something about what they heard in that 5 minutes, then go on their way.
Keep it pushing, and then if it ain't even that, just press like.
Yeah, just press like,
Just
or,
press
or
like.
share the link.
Or
But
share the
but we didn't
link.
say that. We didn't say share. We didn't say.
Oh
the
yeah,
word
you
share.
can't say share no more, according to
According to the Joe Z.
Johnny Z.
Johnny Z. According to Johnny Z.
Johnny Z. What if we had a beef with Rob Z?
We did. We just got
What if we got into like that was the beef around town was us and that would be great though.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
got like a little
We keep
war.
it clean. We keep it. It wouldn't be no violence, Rob. You know.
There would be no violence. No pulling up to you at a stop sign and
Nah.
driving away.
Nah, it wouldn't be no pull-ups or no intimidation. We would just work on the content and try to give out better content. But yeah, that's pretty much. We're just flowing with this one today. We're down here doing a test in the lab, so we did in lab studio, and we're gonna have we got some green screen back here, some lighting. We're messing with some different camera angles, mics, headphones. We're just trying to get the best product out there, so we're not really too much worried about the content we're giving today.
Yeah.
We're more less looking at cameras and trying to adjust everything so we know for next time.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is like I said, this is a big step for us, and we're gonna come out with something here in the future. This hopefully maybe next week, talking about how far we've come on this show. We've come a long way. I mean, like from sitting where we are now to where we were in the basement somewhere of my buddy's house It's a crazy place,
Yeah.
man. It's,
You gotta do what you gotta do when it starts. And that goes to what we were just saying. You gotta do, if you got something in your head and an idea, the best thing to do is just do it.
try it.
And then you see the meter, and what you said was a good idea, like your idea is good as this, that not only shows them, it shows us.
Mhm.
Cause how many times have you really went back and looked? I know it's there, but I haven't went back and seen it.
What, the old stuff that we've done?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because you almost put it in the back of your mind and forget and keep moving forward. You're like, all right, we screwed up here, or we could have did better here, but let's just do better next time. It's
Right.
one of those deals, like, and it's not to say that we don't put our heart and souls into like every episode or whatever that we do. I think that's ridiculous to say, because I think we do.
right.
But the problem is just that it's a constantly evolving thing, and it's a process. Just like we're just constantly trying to improve upon it, because we've been doing this for a year now.
Right, and we hit a little milestone, might be not big to a lot of people, but it was big to me, I noticed it.
Yeah.
It was 300 views organically.
Organically, meaning we didn't pay to boost the post or anything.
We didn't tag nobody, we didn't do nothing except just share it to the platforms and people. And that's what I wanna know, what does consider a view? Like how long is it just
view is
click?
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
It's, I said, for the five seconds, I believe, is for a view time.
And that has to be pretty good because people's thing is is the attention span?
Average attention span is, I believe, 5 to 10 seconds.
Right.
So, they would probably tune out and everything, which shows to me in podcasts are just passive listens. Like, you're just gradually tuning in and out while you're doing something else.
Right.
Or listening to a talk. But yeah, no, with the views and stuff, me and you can go back later. That's not for y'all to do, but we can go back later and look at the analytics, and we can see what was the percentage of over 3 minute watches and 5 second ones.
So they have the analytics. That's basically what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. You break down. And I love analytics. I don't get into them too much because I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out different angles to this, which we're going to figure out, and just keep pushing forward with that. So whoever out there that presses for them 5 seconds, I'm thankful.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Exactly.
thankful because you're giving us the numbers and the analytics we need to move forward. So next step is how are we gonna get people to interact? We need that interaction. We
Right.
need that comment. We need that
And I
hey
think-
F you or a suggestion or
Screw
whatever.
you or whatever,
Yeah.
right. Which I think it is just people don't understand how connected the world is anymore. Do you know? Because I watch YouTube videos, right? And then I won't leave a comment because it's a video that thousands of people have seen and thousands of people have commented on. So I don't leave a comment. But then I think about it, right? If I left a comment, and I've done it on YouTube videos before, where I'll leave a comment and all of a sudden I'll get 7 people that I didn't even know just randomly comment on my comment on YouTube on a video that's thousands of views and just say their opinion on what I just said.
Right.
And it's weird. So it's almost like people, and I think it's the same concept. It's people get on the show and maybe they'll pop in for 5-10 seconds or and it says that we say in the description hey, interact, and that little bumper that says say something crazy.
Right.
They say it. They're I'm not gonna say nothing crazy. It's do it.
We need to go into troll site and invite him in to have a troll off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just to see, get that interaction going, because like I said, I take any kind of constructive criticism. I'll take the negative too, because it shows me exactly who's you're watching.
Exactly.
What do you hate before if you took the time to watch?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Because if I see some shallow thing, shallow insult, I'm just gonna go, yeah, they watched for 5 seconds. But if I see them insult my opinion, at least then they watched it.
They watched it. Yeah.
So-
So to me, that's what we were just saying. That's the president's philosophy.
Yeah.
It's he wants the negative. Hey, you listening?
Right. He's like, well, he probably after that he's like, oh yeah, you know what? Windmills don't cause cancer, but hey, everybody else cared, so I guess. So at least everybody paid attention, right? Right? Yeah. I guess that's what we care about here.
So that's pretty much on that. Oh, quick update. So they caught Eric Holder, which is the guy who murdered Nipsey Hussle, hip hop guy. Great. Oh, more than that, he's a community leader. He's doing a lot of things with his voice and the visibility he had out there that he was able to do a lot of good things. So they caught him. Very interesting story about this guy, who he was. He's known him for years. He's known. The sources are saying, the sources close into this situation are saying this guy got upset with Nipsey because he found out who he was. He was going to help him with his music. He was trying to help him with his music to get on. But you know how that goes. If you're in this position to help and you try to help them, you got to make sure they do the work. So I guess, you know, in some manner, like something to do with police and like him telling on people, and Nipsey told him, oh, you can't come around here with that. You got to get out of here. You got to get out of my business. This is my strip, off the block. Basically, it's hood shit. It's what people do.
Right.
You get caught ratting. Nowadays I don't know, but in the era where he's from or where he's from, that comes out. That's a very, you know, that could cost you your life in those scenarios. So he's like, you got to get out of here. I guess it broke the man's pride, and he came back and decided to handle it like that. Now it's all on camera. That's all going to come all out. But the interesting thing that he did was he went to a mental health place and checked himself in.
The guy.
So, yeah.
Afterward.
So he's building a defense in that manner. And he was at one, he frequent, like through his history, he's been at mental health things. So this is the defense that's being built. And now this is the more interesting part, is that who's defending him is Chris Harden. And if people don't remember who he is the prosecutor, he was one of the prosecutors in the O.J. Simpson case, the black guy that him and Marshall Clark were, you know, doing. I think they still mess around, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But him, and it said he's a private lawyer, so people are bringing up the question like, why, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because everybody pretty much knows that front part. But why is he doing this? Why is
Harden taking the case?
Taking the case that he knows is pretty much unwinnable?
I mean, I don't know. Lawyers are also celebrities, I feel like. Because if you're a lawyer, right, I mean, you don't even have to win the case. But if you're out taking these big name cases, you do it pro bono. Even if you lose, people now know your name. And maybe they go, well, look at him.
So it's a commercial.
It's a commercial, basically, right? I mean, like the guy comes out, he says some stuff, he makes the best case he can. Oh, he doesn't get it. But it was a case that was unwinnable anyway. So that's what his defense is going to be. Well, he's probably still a good lawyer. He just couldn't win the case.
Right, and since he announced that, he's been on every major platform discussing it.
Right, because people are going, oh, we need you. Oh, you're defending him? Well, we need you on the show.
And then, by the way, here's my number.
Yeah.
Call me if you need a lawyer.
Yeah, call me if you need a lawyer.
Because I could just imagine. I mean, he's lived good off the OJ situation itself. Interviews, book deals, cases. He has a better life than he would have if that O.J. Simpson
didn't go down.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that people are debating now at this point because, you know, like, but it's the process of the due process of our country is like, I mean, they got the guy, they know who did it. It's just the due process of now you got to go through the process. Everybody deserves a defense. I believe in the process of that. I believe in the process of going through just not automatically saying you're guilty. And, you know, we got the evidence, let it play out because that's how our thing, I know if I get up and put on trial, I want that. I want my fair and just due, like how it's supposed to be, you know, in this country.
You want your due
in
process.
the court system.
You want your due process. See, I want to go through the system. Yeah, I don't want someone to just be like, yeah, you're guilty, click, there's the gavel, go away. 24 years in the hole.
Yeah.
24 years in the hole.
In the hole, you ever been to the hole, Dev? Have you ever been?
Well, it
in
depends on what
handcuffs?
kind of hole we're talking about. No, I've never been in handcuffs. Well, I'm not going to go into that either.
Oh, wait.
He said, have you ever been in a hole? And I said, depends on which
doing-
hole we're talking about. Then he says, you ever been in handcuffs? And I said, well, and then I thought about it.
Yeah, you're talking.
I mean, those little plastic handcuffs, yeah, sometimes, and you know, maybe you try to make it a little interesting in bed. I don't know, but the handcuffs you're talking about, like the police, no, I've never been in those handcuffs.
You never been arrested for nothing?
Nothing.
Ah, Dev. We're two different people. That's what bridging the gap is.
Oh, Dev, he says Dev.
I'm totally from that era of doing those type things. I just lived a crazy life. Dev's still young, learning things. You know.
Listen, I will not live a crazy life. It probably won't happen for me. This will probably take off. I'll meet a bunch of people, and I'll be like that. If I'm a celebrity, I would be the celebrity that's like was it Paul Rudd? Is the guy who plays Ant-Man? Can't think of his damn name.
Is that Paul Rudd?
I want to say it is. It's Rudd.
The dude that played him like this from This Is 40 and stuff like that. Makes movies.
I don't know.
I don't watch
But
freaking Ant-Man and shit like that.
Yeah, well, you know what the last thing is? I've never watched Ant-Man either, but I
So
just
you
know
just
that
knew
guy.
it was him?
But what I know about him though is that like
He's a nerd.
he's a good yeah, that too. No, he's
I'll just fuck with you.
he's I don't know, he just lives like he's a celebrity and people like him, but he, you know what I mean, he's not like, he's never like in a scandalous thing or whatever. He's just like a guy, just goes out, does his own thing, hangs out with people and meets up, like, yeah, how's it going? You know, like I said, I was gonna say.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of
yeah,
people that.
'cause you don't-
like that.
yeah,
They don't.
a lot.
They're not in that. They don't live in Hollywood.
Right, the ones you talk about are the ones that I'm saying, like the ones we talk about most are the scandalous, the, you know,
Right.
or like they're, you know, or like they do things that are, we consider, like me, it's gonna be whatever. There's a lot of celebrities, yeah, you're right, that are like that. Most of them are actually. But, well,
I don't know. I don't know
I-
the exact numbers. I'm surprised that sometimes when some people just say that what their life is about, like
Yeah.
what they do, because the parts they play, you kind of mix the reality with the parts that they play and think that they would be that person,
but they're not.
but they're not really that person. And then you see what their life is
It's
really
like,
about.
it's like you find, there's rappers out there that'll, like, they don't rap about the drugs, money, and women and stuff like that, and they're, and I'm trying to remember what his name was. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But regardless, he is just he was on Hot Ones on YouTube. It's that show where they eat wings. I can't think of his name. I think he's with Odd Future. It's not Eminem, but like he's like this straight edge guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like he you know, cusses stuff like that. But he don't do drugs. He don't do nothing. He just raps. He has like a manager and stuff that was on the show with him. And that's what he says. Like, yeah, it's not really hard doing anything with this guy. But there's literally people that will boo him because he doesn't smoke weed and he doesn't do this. When he has a show, people will boo him because he's not that
What do
person.
you mean a show? Like he's doing
Like a
this?
show, like a live show,
And
like
you're
with Odd
saying-
Future, like with Tyler the Creator. He's at live shows. People will boo him,
In the
throw things at
crowd.
him because like because he said one time, he's like, dude, he's like, stop smoking, or something, like there was like a guy like smoking something right in front of him or whatever or something. I don't know what it was. And he said, hey man, like don't do that right here, like, you know. And he's like, oh, they start like, getting all mad at him and stuff, you know. And it's just like, well, you shouldn't be smoking right here at a concert anyway, you know, like in this building.
I don't
I'm
know,
just-
that's
I'm
a
just
little tight knit. You go to a concert, you deserve, you know what I mean? People are, that's what you gotta
I
expect.
paid for this.
It's not a,
Yeah.
oh, I'm the one person, like, one person in a room telling 20, you know what's gonna happen
Well,
at a
I'm just saying, like the songs about. I'm saying like, okay, the song. What I was saying was the songs about the money, drugs, and women come on. You know, everybody loses their stuff. No one's booing, and like this guy comes out, he's just straight edge, and they're just like, and then like he say he's not about all that stuff, and they're just like, well, yeah, you're lame. Get out of here. And it's like, well, it's fine, whatever. You know what I mean? But it happens. I get it.
It's one of those things, well, you gotta find like-minded people when you do that. I wouldn't go to, like,
You wouldn't
me
do it-
being
what
who
would you-
I am,
Okay.
I wouldn't go to a place where, like, something, I know where I'm going.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Basically what I'm saying, I'm not gonna go somewhere where they're gonna say, they're gonna think I'm a little too wild for them.
Yeah.
And it
right.
might cause, oh my God, what are you doing? You can't do that when it's just me being me. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. That's why you have what they have. So actually, Odd Future is what we are, is a bridge in the gap. Because Tyler the Creator is,
It's a group of like crazy people. Tyler Creator, he's gay, ain't he? He's
yeah,
gay.
I think Tyler
He's gay.
is.
They have weird outfits and stuff too, which I actually think some of them are fresh, like the donut things and like all that, the weird shorts.
Right, so they all have their, like you're saying, the one dude, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, like
Right.
he's kind of a straight edge guy. And there's
But
like
then isn't there another one?
there's like Taco. I can't think of his. What the hell's his damn name? I can't think of all the guys at Odd Future. But Odd Future, like I said, like that's their thing. Is like they're just this weird kind of brand of like rappers where they're not particularly mainstream, but you know who they are, and they all have their own little within
They're
their
perfecting their lane,
Yeah, and they're all doing their own different thing.
And I guarantee you that balance is what makes them successful.
Right.
At what they do is that he's this guy, you're this guy, and the other guy, bang. Because you need balance in everything, because those are the people, the conversation that we're getting to, those are the people that end up in that trouble. Like in every group, there's this guy, there's the funny guy, there's the guy that is gonna be like, come on guy, that's gonna say, yo, you might not wanna do that.
or there's like the lame guy we all pick on. But here's the thing is that we pick on him, it's because we love him. And if the minute someone else picks on him,
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
fight.
you're gonna get,
It's a
yeah.
fight. It's like hold up.
You
It's like-
have people like that.
Yeah, that's
you
what I'm
have
saying.
people like that. You
Right.
have people in your, always that person in there that's not the fighter,
Right.
that's not the person that, you know what I mean? He will stand up, but he's not, but the people that are with it are gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna protect him
Right.
at all costs.
I'm just saying, like my friend circle has always been that one guy where it's like you're just like, like you rag on him the most because he's usually like the kind of quiet type. He doesn't really say much.
Yeah,
He's kind of reserved. So when you say something to him, he just kind of like maybe he'll laugh a little bit or like he'll just go like he doesn't say anything, and you're just messing with him because like I say he's one of your best friends. He's in the circle.
It's the balance. It's the balance of everything, and that's what we try to do here is the balance and make people understand. Like, to me, a person like all my beliefs and the strong belief systems that I have, to me, I don't sit here and say to a person unless it's about hate.
Mm-hmm.
If it's hate and anything, one of those sins that you can't, in my eyes, you can't be forgiven for. But who am I? But I just think certain things like, I mean, if you kill somebody and it's not like protecting yourself, you're just out of your mind. All the sexual assaults and all that stuff. I just don't see. I mean, I don't think about it to be like to think about forgive anybody for that. It's just I don't even want to be bothered. But somebody's view does not disrupt my like I'm not sitting here saying I can't be around you because you don't believe in what I believe in and stuff like that. I can't do that. And I think that's where people make the mistake at, where their view is so strong that they turn people away from them, like, that could probably either actually help them grow.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. It's beneficial, I think, to have people that contrast you. Because if they contrast you, then they're either going to sharpen you or they're going to. But you at least got to, even if you don't like what they say, you still got to work with these people because they all have space, they all have different attributes and stuff. They can help you and you can help them.
Right.
And I think that's the way the society works, and not, but I'm saying also when you make a group, whenever you get that niche, when you make a circle, it has to be that way, because if you have a circle of all the same dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys are gonna go, they're gonna be stuck in that path. Granted, that path could be successful, but when you get success and then you be around that same crowd of people, I wouldn't want that. I want different type of view people where people are like I'm used to that growing. I'm used to all my life. It's just different types of people. You got people that are smart. You got people that are creative. You got people that just are okay with the 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I try to encourage anything, but it's just one of those things that we look at and sit and you look at people and you just be like, why is a person like wigging out about their opinion when it's really like.
Yeah. Why are we all wigging out about this one thing?
Right.
What's the real deal?
Is that like brainwashed? Do we think that's a person that's brainwashed?
Nah, it could be. I just think it's cognitive dissonance. Like there's just people out there that literally, and it's true. It's a real phenomenon. Like it literally hurts their brain to it makes them get real emotional real fast whenever they hear something.
Trigger.
Yeah, triggered. It really is. It really is that term. Because when they hear that thing that contradicts their viewpoint, and then they have an emotional attachment to that ideology. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know. For me, my ideas they can change. I'm not set anywhere, right? If you show me something where it makes sense, there's evidence to support it or whatever, then I can change. It'll be like, yeah, okay, then I get that. Then I support that. If it makes sense, it doesn't just have to be empirical.
I think everybody has that though about something.
But what? There's one thing that
there's one thing that they're just gonna be like, I'll wig out about right now.
Well, for me, it was the whole religious talks, but I've since simmered down. I can't even think off the top of my head what it would be. The thing that just gets.
That was it. You just figured out how to.
Yeah, you just mellow it down. Because I still get that. When you have those conversations. But like I said, is what I learned is that you just gotta be well, you're gonna believe what you're gonna believe. It's kind of like that thing I told you earlier when we started the show about the guy I work with at work who says you just gotta try it your way. It's the same thing. It's I did the religious thing, then I did some stuff, I learned some things, and then I just don't think it's even possible for there to even be a God, right? If there's nothing possible, it doesn't exist. But that's what I'm saying is but if you want to believe in that, you want to go down that road, you want to do that path of discovery, that's fine. Go do it, But the thing is like why I'm against it again is because I just believe beliefs inform actions. If you believe something's true and it's not, then you're gonna make misinformed decisions. Just like about, like I said, with women's rights and abortions and stuff like that. I'm not saying there's Christians out there that are against abortions or whatever, but I'm not saying there are Christians that aren't for abortions or Muslims that aren't for abortions. I'm just saying that for the most part, there's people would be like, no, that's wrong, but they're not looking at the idea of women's rights and like, you're taking all of that away from them and all this other nonsense.
Yeah, there's always something like, when somebody disagrees with something, there's always a formal argument for what they, as long as it's art, it's
argumentative,
something
'cause
that
some
they
people-
can bring. Some people just argue.
No, they don't even argue, they just say, that's dumb because it's stupid.
Yeah.
They
You
don't
gotta
even
have
pay on
some
into it.
kind of proof of what you're talking about.
Well,
Like, show me something that makes sense. Like that happens to me all the time. It doesn't, and to me, like I also learned too, just because they're saying that, because I'm a firm believer in the information is a scale. It's like a ruler. They're telling you that's an inch. So that's the only way you're saying it's 6 inches, because they gave you that information. Now I believe that there's information way before this. We're just all on the universal scale that they're using. That don't mean that the information they're given, or we could go further with enlightenment of knowing who we really are and what we are by doing way back, more ancient, more in-depth look at things.
Well, you're talking about, what you just talked about was definitions,
Mhm.
because you said this is an inch, but then also if you look at like the British measuring system, they say this is a millimeter,
Right.
How many millimeters of those is an inch? So that's how they measure things. But what you're talking about is how we define things. And when you talk about definitions, right, okay?
Mhm.
You could call that thing a didgeridoo, and I'd call that thing a microphone, right? Now, what we're both talking about, because to me what the word microphone would mean would be a device for recording. And if you call it a didgeridoo, it's still, that's your definition for that word of a thing that records stuff, right?
Mhm.
It's a type of instrument that does that. So that's how languages work. Like, let's say to listen. Say if I said, I'm going to listen to you,
Mhm.
in Spanish that's escuchar. So, if you say escuchar, and I understand what that word is, that means to listen. If I say, I'm going to listen, then the word to listen would mean what I just said, to listen. It's really weird. Language is really creepy, because when I start thinking about other people's languages, I start feeling like it's alien. It's really weird.
Yeah, languages are a weird thing. I took Spanish for a couple of years. I didn't learn shit. I was just in there.
Puerto
goofing off.
baño, por favor. That's the one most people.
You said please.
Puerto, well, it just means please may I use the bathroom. That's it.
Wow,
But that's
pretty
the
much
one
all
most
it is.
people remember, because I remember in Spanish
I
class.
want to get out.
Yeah, you're like, can I get out of the bathroom? Like, because if you couldn't, that was it. Puerto baño, por favor. See.
Yeah, and I think those are things that, like, just like you said, what the British are calling it that, but it's a universal scale of what it is.
Mhm.
And that's fed information. That's what I believe. I believe all of our information is fed, like they're telling us. Like today they can tell us, like, what was it the other day they told us, hot tea causes cancer now.
Hot tea causes cancer.
Hot tea causes cancer.
Right, but you have to look into that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said.
But people are like, what do they do when they go out the door?
Right.
Oh, don't drink hot tea no more.
You know what's funny about a lot of these things is they'll get posted in popular magazines, right? Like hot tea causes cancer. But whenever you go to read the actual research paper, this is very interesting, because like I said, this is what happens when you start reading like the science papers where they base this information off of. What they mean is like, oh, there's a little bit of carcinogenic stuff in tea.
Why is this douchebag looking at me? I'm sorry, you gotta cut that. But he was looking hard.
He's like staring you down.
Yeah, I forgot I was on the show, like, dude.
Well, yeah, sometimes it just comes out of you, man. It just comes out.
It comes out.
But no, like I said, but a lot of times it's just like that, where like you'll find things like there were studies about water, like what's in water and stuff. People are like, whoa, water's toxic, it's gonna kill us. It's like, yeah, it's like, but I'm like, what's in like your river water? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, of course there's stuff in the river water that's gunk and mud and whatever if you're drinking out of the river. And also like you're saying, what your processed water. Well, yeah, of course there's chemicals in it, because that's what they use to process to keep the stuff that's in like the fresh water, like not the fresh water, but the river water out for like the diseases and stuff.
It
And I
just
mean,
causes
we
another
could
issue.
talk about, we could talk about.
That
those
thing
things.
could go on
Yeah,
forever
yeah,
because
we could talk about it, but I'm
they
saying,
give you something. I think they give you something that causes another problem.
right, well,
We can use opiates as an excuse. It's meant to help you,
right, well,
but it
it's,
turns into another problem.
because it's addictive, so you have to find a different solution. Well, what I think is like it was posed as first as this thing where it's like opiates, we'll just use that for an example, right? It was posed first as like, hey, this will help relieve pain.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, this is good. And then they realize that it forms an addiction. And as you form an addiction, you're stuck on it now. And then also now it's hurting you because you keep taking it constantly. It was only meant to deal with like a pain.
Right.
And then now it's like you're addicted to it, and now it's hurting your system because you're only supposed to be, because opiates you're really like only supposed to take it like a month's time for like a pain or something.
I don't know,
Like
but
surgery.
yeah, I guess, but what they're putting into it, from my understanding, there's people
That knew.
like cocaine.
Right.
In Colombia, it's a natural resource. They eat it for like it's coffee.
Right.
It doesn't cause the same problems for them that it causes. So it's the additives that are, I think, if it's
Yeah, the
natural,
way
it's
they
from the
process.
ground.
Well, it's coca.
Yeah.
Coca. It's processed from
Yeah.
coca.
Yeah, they
And
turn it into something.
They turn it
that's-
into a drug to get you. Well, the thing is, I think the coca that they're eating over there,
Mhm.
I think it's different from the cocaine that you do as a drug, because I think the additives that put it in, like the way they process it. Because I watched that video with that dude. Who was that guy? Is he the guy from like that fishing show or something? I remember him on it, but he went to like it was like 60 Minutes. And he went in, and they actually, like, he watched people in Colombia make Colombian
Oh,
cocaine.
I seen part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it's different, because like, once they get in the powder, it's like, oh, like, and maybe that's the thing you're thinking of, it might not be, but that's the thing you're thinking of, and then they take it through the process where they put the gasoline and like,
Ether, all
ether and
types
all
of
this
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, and I'm wondering if like, that's how they make it so it's a drug,
Uh-huh.
versus like, how you make coca where it's like, maybe just like caffeinates you or something.
So do we? Now let's stay on this. This is very interesting.
Yeah,
Because the poppy field, like same thing with heroin and
Right.
poppy fields. So like, what I'm thinking, the natural part of it would probably give you some of the things that.
some of it.
Yeah, the way it's broke down is giving you the
The
intensity, the addictive part, and the turning into something.
Maybe not even just the addictive part, but just the intensity. Like they get the opioid, like the extract from those poppies.
Mm-hmm.
They get the extract from it, and then they spice it up. They're like, oh yeah, well, we need it to do better. We need, because like it does help. Like it does reduce some pain, but it doesn't reduce the pain we need it to. So we need
We need
add
it to do more.
And when you add the stuff to it, maybe that's the problem. And the problem is, maybe you have a pain, like a back pain or something, a leg pain, or like you have to get surgery on your leg and you need something to deal with that pain,
Right.
right? Well, maybe it's so severe that they have to give you something with those additives in it just so you can stand it, or, because if they gave maybe like the straight poppy
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? Like just a straight thing wouldn't be enough, it would still hurt.
Right.
But I mean, is it overkill? That's the $1 million question. Is it like overkill and the addictive additives are in there, or what's causing it? Although I will say, from an addiction standpoint, anything can be addicting because it's all about like I said, the releases of dopamine in the brain and everything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
So it's a
Definitely.
weird thing.
Definitely. It's definitely one of those things. All right, so that's pretty much all I had. Do you have anything else on your noggin, on your
No,
brain?
I have one thing I want to share, just a story
Mhm.
from work. It's a great guy, but basically we're on the road driving. We passed this guy in a Porsche, man, and he was just cruising. He wasn't even going very fast because he was, he's on the phone, real important type, I guess. And we keep driving down the road, and then, like, out of nowhere, he catches back up to us and just starts like riding our rear end. Well, we're side by side with another trailer, another tractor trailer.
Mm-hmm.
He's like going behind us, driving like right on our rear ends, flicking his lights, like flick, 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 flick. It's like, dude, we can't get over. Where are you gonna go? Because he's trying to get ahead, like he's got somewhere to be or something. I don't know what his deal is. Well, we're just like, well, we're gonna go the speed limit. We're not going nowhere. The tractor trailer's going the speed limit, so he was stuck behind us. He couldn't get ahead, so he's all mad. So we finally get up past the tractor trailer. He speeds right past us. I mean, this dude in the Porsche just rips it.
Mm-hmm.
Gets in, parks it, gets his car right in front of us and just starts like driving real slow in front of us. And then no matter where we changed lanes, like we were headed up on 17th Street, he had to get in front of us to slow us down. Well, eventually then we got around to the left so we could go to the store because we had to go back. Well, he like drove up real fast right beside us, looked up in the window of the car. I did a little little finger wiggle, like, hey, what's up, man? Because you know, like, what's he gonna do in his little Porsche to our big truck? Like, you're really like, yeah, when you're out driving, sure, but it's like you really gonna try something, man? It's a truck.
Right.
So he then looks up at the truck. I give him a little finger wave. He flips me off. He drives down by this exit down here, or this entryway in Altoona. Drives down by, and not even exaggerating in the slightest. He just drives around 3 cars, whips it around, and then he goes in the rubble strips, goes around. He almost crashed his car because he's being such an idiot, and it just hit me. It's just like, do people with sports cars have like a complex? That's all. That was the
You might have little cocks, little penises.
little peepees, little papes.
I don't know. Some people are just like, most people that do like have those type of things. To me, that doesn't mean anything, because I watch a lot of shows about how people obtain things and what really, like, they're no different than anybody else, and they have a lot of debt, and it's they made something, but they didn't use it wisely. So, and there's a lot of people that deserve to get those type of things, but most people that does things like that, bro, doesn't even have nothing to do with the car. They're just assholes.
Yeah, they're just
They're
assholes.
just pure assholes. Like,
But I'm saying, like, there's something to be said because the guy buys a sports car because he's got like an ego, or he's got like.
I don't know, if I had the money, I'd buy a sports car.
Right. But I'm saying, like, the guy who acts like that in the sports car.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm saying, like, it's an ego thing because.
I think we'd all have a little one,
Yeah.
but would I road rage over it?
Like,
No.
and like, you know, like be like whipping around, flicking your lights, acting like a.
Like, I got a Porsche, you work at
And
Lowe's.
literally almost get in an accident and kill like 3 people and
No,
like
it's
drive
not
off in the
that.
rubbles.
It's not that important. I can't stand a person like that, because I know some people that are well off. They're very humble people. They don't, like, they're well off. They can do whatever pretty much they want to do in life.
Yeah, they have money and cars, and they're just, yeah,
They're just, it's whatever.
because I do see enough people driving nice cars
Mm-hmm.
that are, you know, they're just driving, you know. But like this guy, man, I mean, he probably in his 30s. He just looked like a D-bag. He had aviator shades on. Like,
Did you want to get out and throw hands with him?
I kind of did, but at the
Throw
same
those
time,
hands, man.
it was company time, man. I can't do it.
I get it.
I get it. Those type of situations, like to me, I remember my point in life. Like, I don't want to have no.
Oh,
kind of-
hold on. I gotta end the story with one last thing. He called the store and told us we were speeding.
Wow, he went that far.
He really called the store and told us we were speeding.
This guy, I would like to meet this guy and assess him.
You know, let's find him. Let's just start looking up Porsche.
The guy with the Porsche. What's today's
silver,
date?
silver Porsche, and it was probably about a week ago.
Describe it.
Silver Porsche, week ago. Guy looked like he might have been, he like tannish skin. I don't know a nationality. He had a big nose, shades. He had like a buzz haircut. If you see him,
And where was this at?
at Altoona. He was driving. Last I see him, he was heading on off to the right at the Sheets intersection down here, right at the Altoona sign. He made the right going towards like the place where people take their piss test at. That's where he was.
So if anybody knows, then it was a Lowe's truck, right? A Lowe's truck that he did this to. Maybe we can bait him to come out and say, "Oh, yeah, I want to talk to you guys," and we'll get him on.
Yeah,
we'll get him on the show.
So we can talk
Get him
about
on.
it.
You hang up on him 4 or 5 times. or whatever.
And we're like, sir, like you, like we couldn't, like you're just a d-bag, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
It is what it is, man. People are like that out there. I mean, I think, and there's a lot. The one thing that I hate too is when they say a lot of people that go through things. You know, you gotta excuse. I'd never excuse somebody that comes to the situation and causes a problem, because I don't care what you're going through. You're causing a problem right now. Say you need a hug. Say you need a hug. Don't cause a problem. But people like insert themselves and then say, and then when something bad happens, they'll be like, "Oh, I was going through this and this and that." It's
like,
it's
no.
not an excuse.
Yeah,
It's not an excuse. And this sounds like what that type of dude. If he went that far
he's crazy. He's
and did all that and then called the company, that's
he's just being petty, bro. He's just being mad petty. All right, that's it though. That's all I had. Like I said.
That's pretty much all I got. Anything else? Nah, I can't think of anything else. Like we said, we're just testing out some things here, so bear with us. We just kind of did this on the fly than our usual show tonight, but it'll be up, right?
Yeah, it'll be up tonight. Yep.
We got a green screen back here. It's gonna be some stuff back here. Dev will do some voodoo to it, and we'll be ready.
Yeah. All right. But as always, take care of yourselves. Stay beautiful. Bridge the Gap. We out of here. See ya.